Welcome. We're here at Adobe Summit in the think tank, and I have with me Glen Hartman from Accenture Interactive. He's the North America lead for Accenture Interactive. Welcome.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's great to have you. So let's start off with, tell us a little bit about Accenture Interactive and kind of your role there.
Sure. Accenture Interactive is really about one thing. We are laser focused on helping our clients deliver the best experiences on the planet to their end customers. And we have been a big part of Accenture's growth over the last 4 or 5 years. We're the fastest growing part of Accenture, and it's largely due to a new increased demand by our clients to help really understand how to make relevant experiences and meaningful experiences for their clients.
That's awesome. So, really, how is kind of Accenture Interactive helping brands embrace that digital disruption that's happening?
Sure, I mean, one of the key ways is we're working with them to help reverse engineer their business around the customer. And people have been talking about customer centricity and the customer comes first forever. Yeah. But we're at a point right now where we can really use technology and creativity and a whole bunch of different ways of looking at the customer, getting to know the customer, so we can start to make businesses shift in their direction. A lot of it is around actually not just getting to know the customer, but empathizing with customers so the customer can achieve their goals on their terms.
That's awesome. A major theme that has been discussed here at Adobe Summit is the experience business. And you guys help a lot of companies become experience business. Can you give me a couple examples of companies that have done a really good job of becoming experience businesses and the fact that you guys have helped them achieve that?
Sure. There's lots across different industries that we've teamed up with Adobe to help. Some that come to mind are Subway, or in the health and life sciences area, Biogen. There's so many different great examples of when you take this approach of starting to really reverse engineer around customer experiences and understand how to deliver on that, it makes people look at the technology a little differently. They're less concerned with features and functionality or even implementation times, and because they're looking much more at the outcomes and the way those experiences come to life.
Yeah. So, one of my favorite questions to ask people is really, what are the overhyped technologies out there, especially as it kind of pertains to delivering experiences and, as we've talked about experience business, what do you believe is kind of that most overhyped technology right now in the marketplace?
I mean, in a way, it's all of them, right? So I think any one technology it's always been this way. There's no way that's really going to change anything in a significant way unless it's grouped together in some kind of context like customer experience or some business goal or business transformation. I mean, I think maybe the biggest and most talked about one out there is IoT, the Internet of Things. Yeah. It's this ubiquitous idea that it's going to change the face of everything. And I think it's important to be able to put it into the right context. Along with all the other types of things, if it's artificial intelligence, it doesn't matter. Standing alone is not really the key. What we really try and do is you take a look at the customer journey and all the touch points that they could have, yeah, and understand how those new technologies play in that broader picture.
Yeah. You kind of briefly mentioned there artificial intelligence. As we think down the line and in the future, how do you think artificial intelligence or machine learning is going to really help change experiences and that journey, that customer journey that you're talking about?
I mean, it's going to help in a couple of ways. One is just continuing to get to know the customer better, and not just like in a way that you understand to help deliver personalization, which is important. We're talking about way beyond personalization. It's a new level of relevance. So you can understand what their intent is in the moment. I travel a lot for my business, and my things that I need for when I'm traveling for business is much different than when I'm traveling with my family, for instance. Even though I'm still the same person, I have different intent or needs. And right. I think that artificial intelligence and those things will help enable this more real-time and much more relevant approach. The one thing that I think when you look to the future, though, that we can't lose sight of is the human element of it. I mentioned earlier that it's not just about experience or relevance, or it's much more about empathizing with the customer and help really understanding what they need. And I think if you concentrate too much on just the data or too much just on technology, you can lose that human quality. And when we're talking about enabling brands, they have to understand that kind of empathy and use it as a way to have the brands live and thrive.
Yeah, so maybe speak a little bit more about kind of that human element. How does an organization make sure to maintain that and keep that, you know, as they try to deliver experiences?
Yeah, so the organization has to move from an organization more to an organism. It has to be living. Yeah. The same way the experiences have to change in real time, and they have to be living. And maybe, I don't know, a trip to the supermarket on a Saturday is a completely different experience or a desired outcome for that customer than maybe if they go into a grocery store on their lunch break or something. One is about getting the right things for their family for the week, and the other is more about speed, maybe getting in and out of there quickly. And understanding that context makes it more human.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be the new currency for brands and organizations, to be able to figure out how to organize to be able to deliver that flexible experience. The platforms have to be able to flex in a different way, and so does the organization itself. So maybe the way to look at departments and silos and structures, I think that needs to change. Things have to be a lot more fluid. The same way all these experiences are kind of driven by creativity and analytics and technology all coming together, the organization needs to blur some of those lines as well, so operations and the output of those experiences can be more fluid.
Yeah. So we talked about kind of the overhyped technologies. What's the most important technology, you know, in your perspective on delivering an experience business?
It's the same answer before. I would say all of them and none of them. As long as the technology is put into this perspective, it can't be seen as a panacea or one new technology is going to be able to really deliver on that experience. It has to be intermingled, and I think that this idea of having some sponsorship inside an organization to realize that the coming together of technology with marketing, sales, service, and whatever that full customer journey is, and all the levers that go into making an integrated, holistic experience, that is actually the new and most important thing. To say let's be customer-centric is really underdoing it. It's really making decisions around the way the company is organized and the way they deliver around that customer. That's the net new imperative.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much.
Sure.
You know, we've been here at Adobe Summit, and we're excited to have more interviews on the way, so stay with us, and we'll have more interviews. Thank you.